guys, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to the Cinematic Reviewer. Today I'm talking about Grey's Anatomy. So Grey's Anatomy just celebrated its 20th anniversary, so it released for the first time March 27th, 2005. So I want to go ahead and talk about some of my favorite moments in the show and some of my favorite characters. So I just got back into the show. I started watching in March, and I've done 2 rewatches so far. So I watched it for the first time back in March through, let's say, maybe September of 2022. And I really got into the show, was really enjoying myself. And so then I did another rewatch last year, somewhere around April 2024. But it's definitely a show that's kind of comforting, kind of cozy. And I'd say for me, what I like about the show, I like some of the storylines, and I really like the connection of the characters. It's really nice to have like the friendships and the leadership at times, but for me, I am not about it. I am not about the whole people are getting with this one, getting with that one, and the drama of the relationships, like the romantic relationships. I could care less about that stuff. I know for some that's like, that's the whole thing. What else is there? But for me, I'm like, I prefer almost everything else other than the romantic relationships. So I would say for Meredith, for many people, I have heard some people say that to them, the main character of something is boring to them and they prefer other characters. I would say, usually I cannot relate to that statement, but this show in particular, yeah, I'd say Meredith is one of the most boring characters in the show, even though she's the main character. And it is an ensemble cast, but really she's the main character. And it's like, is she an issue to me? No. Do I really like her? No. She's kind of neutral. She's kind of there. And I'd say even sometimes when she's just existing in the show, even she's like, yeah, I'm here. I don't know. I'm sure they could have picked a better, more interesting main character, but it works fine. But definitely one of the primary group of 5 that is definitely my favorite is Cristina. She is great. And, you know, I just like so much about her character. I would say to me personally, I still don't quite get why she gets involved with these attendings and why she has to have a romantic relationship. Maybe if it came out today, she wouldn't, because I still don't exactly see why she has to be with any of them. She just seems too logical and focused on what she wants to do and being a great surgeon. And like, I get that in a way, getting with some of these attendings can have that benefit of assisting her in better surgeries, but she seems to actually care and want to be in these relationships. And just to me, considering how she's portrayed on screen, like, why is she with anyone? I guess it's because this is Grey's Anatomy and they have to have a relationship. The way I see it, and I've seen it since I started watching the show, I just think it would be better and makes more sense for her character not to be in a relationship with anyone. Like, I get it's really good with her friendships and everything and her connections with others. And there are multiple times, not just with Cristina, but just in general, where there is the education and they're learning from attendings, they're learning from residents, and it's like, that feels way better than where it's like, oh, this has to be some sort of romantically involved. Like, I really am kind of like, it kind of sets me off rather than getting me into the show. I'm still very sad in how Cristina leaves, because she's definitely one of the best characters. And it is. I do think it is, like I said, maybe it gets better, but for me, I'm just like, I could not get past season 10. I'm like, now that Cristina's gone, what's even the point? Now, Izzie, I think she's fine. I definitely am not anti her character. I feel fairly neutral about her, and I do say that apparently it's a little controversial. Some people don't really like the storyline. I actually do like the storyline with Denny and Izzie and everything there, and truly, I would have been really cool if they ended up getting to have their happily ever after. I get why the actress, wanted to be on the show longer, and maybe they just didn't want to keep that storyline going. And I did hear just recently that the actor for Denny Duquette, he actually was advocating with the writers saying, hey, you should keep my character around. So it's not like they themselves didn't want this character to live, because I personally really liked it. I still say that they were more soulmates and they belonged together versus Izzie and Karev. Like, I don't really think it needed to be like that, because sometimes Karev, and I will get into talking about him, sometimes Karev really can have a heart to him, and then the second anyone notices and they say something, and he's like, oh no, I have to be a jerk now, I have to be the worst, and it's like, just so many things that he's done, and it's like, Izzie could do so much better, and just everything going on with the storyline. And even when I stopped watching the show, because I went from season 1 to the end of season 10, and then I tried season 11 and I couldn't get into it, but I do know what happens as Karev's actor, as he leaves, the way they wrote him out of the show. It's like, really? Like, I already know about that, and it is pretty, like, you really had to do it like that? Like, they could have done so much better. I did like that storyline with her, and in general, she could definitely have some fun to her, and she's definitely the most positive of the core 5. Now, Karev, like I'm talking about, I really appreciate some of the storylines with him. Definitely where he's getting better with the OBGYN, like that he's actually getting good with like the specialty and everything. It is too bad that, like I'm saying, the second anyone notices that he's doing good and doing anything to nurture, to be nice, to be kind, oh no, he's got to be a total jerk. But there are many aspects where he's in the show that are very sweet, and definitely sometimes the connection with Meredith and Karev, those are definitely some good scenes there. You know, it's good to see some of the friendships, and I still remember the part, because right now, in terms of what I've been watching, I'm close to the end of season 3 in my rewatch, but I do remember that part where Cristina accidentally has the defibrillator, hits Karev, he's all like, you almost killed me, and she's like, I just saved your life. Like, that is such a good scene. Like, there's just so many scenes in the show that are very, very enjoyable. Now, George, I would say he is my least favorite. He's definitely the shy, nice guy, always gets ignored, and nice guy in terms of nice guy. Like, it is a shame that they kind of write him to have us be sympathetic towards him, because not once have I ever been like, oh yeah, it's so worth him being here, and he deserves the most, and isn't he such a nice guy? It's like, no, he's a jerk so much of the time, and he totally acts entitled. Like, I've just never been about his character or anything. And definitely the storyline with Meredith and George, absolutely not. And I have heard some people have talked about, like, it's really not well treated in the show, and in general, it's just like, did you guys really have to do it like that? And I will even say, when George dies, couldn't care less. And a way to write him out of the show, like, they have been so sympathetic to certain characters, and considering he's part of Core 5, and this is how they end his story, I really don't see it as very well how they did it. I don't think it was a very good storyline, but there's definitely storylines that I have very much enjoyed. I'm not totally sure with the plane crash and everything that comes much later from where I am in terms of my rewatch. I think I liked part of it. I do think sometimes where like the characters get a lot of money, like obviously with the Denny Duquette situation, Izzie gets a lot of money, and so then she uses that $8 million to set up the free clinic, and that's nice and all, but like even with the thing where now the hospital has to pay out to, you know, the big group of them that were on the plane crash and everything, and then they use it to buy back the hospital. Yes, they own it, and they could do things with it, and that's fine and all, but it's like, considering all that happened to you, I don't know, I still kind of am like, they should have used that money for other things, but it's fine. It's the storyline they wanted to go for, and that's fine. Definitely Bailey, of the residents, she is definitely the best resident, and she's definitely one of the best characters in the show. You know, I always like to see her on screen, and you know, she's just the best. And it's really nice that the actress continues to stay on the show, that she didn't decide to leave, because I think if you got rid of Bailey, like, there goes the show. Like, how could you not have Bailey? But she's great. She's a great character. I think also in terms of residents, with the girl that's all happy and preppy and whatever, and she's supposed to be considered this annoying person, I don't see it like that. Like, is she amazing? Great? I don't think so. Like, I think that's fine to not like her, but like just the way that they act on the show where it's like, oh, she's the worst, isn't she? It's like, really? And speaking of the worst, my least favorite character, one of my least favorite characters is Callie. I cannot stand her. Her introduction into the show, how she evolves, just her character in general, erase her character. I do not like her character. And Arizona, I do think she's a good character, and it is a bummer what happens to her with her leg and everything, but in general, I think there's plenty of treatment in the show, character, certain scenes, and plot points that they decided on that I definitely think work for Arizona, but like Arizona and Callie, like Arizona could do so much better. It's just everything about Callie, boo! Do not like her at all. Also, I just had this scene where it's like, oh yeah, she's so hot, and everyone's saying she's so hot, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding. Do you guys have eyes? Like, really, I could not believe my ears. And I still say, just everything about her, cannot stand her. Now, Derek, I've enjoyed him, the actor, Patrick Dempsey. I've enjoyed him in something else, Enchanted. That's a great movie, and it shows just how heartfelt and sweet he can be. But the treatment that Derek does to his wife, to Meredith, to just about everyone, he's the worst. He sucks. Like, and it is too bad because, yeah, he can be charming by being played by an actor like Patrick Dempsey, but the character himself, he's the worst. And it does suck. Not once have I ever been like, isn't he so nice? He's so great. It's like, no, not at all. Another attending that I do enjoy is Burke. I do like him, and I do know, whole thing with why he was asked to leave and why he was written out of the show, but I still think he was one of the best attendings, and there was a loss with him leaving the show. There are definitely characters in the show that maybe is looked upon not fondly by the show itself, but to me, I like the characters, and other characters that they're really like trying to be like prop them up and be like, aren't they great? And it's like, no! But there are definitely, when it gets into the Mercy West and Seattle Grace combination, almost none of the new characters I like them. Definitely not. As the show continues, and I definitely agree with other people where it's like, yeah, the first few seasons, those are the best, but there are other things that happen later in the show that can be good. Now, I do know that plenty of people like Mark Sloan. I'm not one of them, and the actor I could do without. Like, I had only seen him in certain little clips and pieces of Euphoria, so obviously I had a bad impression of him. And he did better to make amends almost by, his role in this show. But really, Grey's Anatomy, for his character, I just don't care about him. I don't like him. And I'd say for Addison, she's fine. I'm not particularly about her. I know a lot of people really like her, but I'm kind of eh. And I will say, now that I'm at the part, like I'm saying, close to the end of season 3, the choice to make a whole 2-part episode where Addison is having this private practice thing, it just totally ruins the flow of the show. Like, I am stuck, not really about it. And she's just not that great to me. I don't think she's half as good as some people make her out to be. Now, Lexie, I really like Lexie. And she's just very sweet, portrayed by a very nice actress, and just in general, her integration into the show is very good, very nice. It is too bad how Meredith treats her a lot of the time, and Also, I guess you could call her like a stepmom. But like that lady, like she just tries her best to do the most for her and she just totally shuts her down, and I get why. It's gotta be hard dealing with what she dealt with her mother and her dad, but really this lady is trying to nurture and do everything she can to be sweet to her. Like really, you're just gonna cut her to the curb? Like, I don't appreciate how she treats her and treats Lexie. Like Lexie's great. I am still very sad how she leaves the show. But like in general, she's a great character. Now the plot point of the bomb episode in season 2, I am currently stuck on that episode because I'm just, the first time I watched it, it was fine. I'm so whatever about it now. Like I've watched every episode up until this part where it's just focusing on Addison. But I'm trying to go back to that bomb episode and it's just like, just the whole thing of it. And not communicating with anyone about how things are going, like really. But there are definitely aspects about this show I really like, I really have fun with. And other parts where I'm like, what are we even doing here? Like, what exactly is it these writers were thinking? So much of the time I really can feel like that. But there are a lot of aspects about this show that I've definitely enjoyed, and I'm sure I will continue watching more and more of it. So, if anyone's not watched the show, I definitely recommend checking out the show. There's definitely some very fun moments in the show. Realism? Definitely not. This is all as out of the realm of reality as possible, but it does still have some fun aspects. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, comment below, and if you liked this video and would like to see more movie content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time. Bye!